Well, today I'm going to go through and actually replace this valve stem with a new one. So if you want to learn how to do this with a basic set of tools and without having to rebalance your tire, well, perhaps you'll find this informative. Okay, the first step in the process, of course, is to remove the valve core. And for this, I got a little bit of a tool. You'll need this tool, of course. And what I would not recommend is I would not recommend cutting this off at this point. You need to make sure you can actually break the bead on the tire before you can, before you actually start butchering up your valve core. So anyway, I'm just going to go ahead and pop this on off and then proceed to the next step. Okay, the next step is to break the bead on the tire. Now, this bead breaker is from Harbor Freight. It's an item 92961. It's actually for a small passenger car tire, but nonetheless, we're going to make it work for the big old truck tire. And so what I've done is I've put a piece of wood underneath there, so it's underneath supporting. There's actually a piece that comes from the bead breaker, and you need to support that in. Then I also put a strap around the tire so that it holds it tight up close to the little vertical post here, which we're going to use to push down and break the bead. So everything's in place. Again, that strap is a cheap strap wrench you can get also from Harbor Freight. So anyway, pretty straightforward. So I'll go ahead and pop the bead on this. And what I like to do is put a little block here by the valve stem to help me work on it. So that's it for this part. Now I could just try pulling that valve cord to remove it on this side, but you run the risk of actually tearing this piece off and then it getting lost somewhere in the tire and then spending time trying to find it or shake it on out. So I prefer to just go ahead and start cutting a little bit on this. I don't know if you can, I'm blocking the camera here, but don't cut it all the way through just yet. Get a good start on it. Grab onto it. A pair of vice grips here and then finish cutting it off. And that's it. And then, of course, you can just pull it out from the other side here. So that's pretty straightforward on how to remove it. All right, we're getting ready to put in the new valve core stem. I want you to take a good look at the shoulder here. Make sure that the one that you're replacing with it has the same amount of width with the shoulder as well as the diameter. So there's actually a couple different sizes of these. So before you start your job, make sure you get the right size. And you also want to get something that's about the same configuration because the tire, after all, is balanced with this particular style of valve stem. So you want to replace it with the same style. You can get other variations of it, but again, you want to get this thing as close to the original weight of the weight of the original valve stem as possible. You don't want to put long ones on, or if you have long ones, you want to put short ones on. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the valve cap on off. And I've got a little bucket over there in the far corner. That's just some I'll call it the sealant for sealing beads. You don't have to use this at all. You can use soapy water for that matter. It'll work just as fine, just as well. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on there. Just help lubricate it a little bit on up so that it goes on in here. and seats up pretty easily. It actually pulls on in rather with very little effort actually. So we're going to put this on in, and I've got this tool right here. Again, another tool that you need to pick up. And it's just a simple tool to grab onto the threads on this. You don't want to use a pair of vice grips. You want to get the right tool for the job. And then actually, let me just pull it on through. Yeah, I don't need the block. But if you've got a very tough one, you might want to use a piece of wood to keep from marring up the surface. But this one is actually pretty there. I mean, that's all there is to it. It's not on there with a huge amount of force, but if you have, depending upon your application, it may not be that easy. So pretty straightforward. Put the valve core, valve stem on in, and now again, you don't have to do this with this bucket right here. This, by the way, is, if you wanted to take a look at it, hopefully you can see it in the camera, Tru-Flate or tower mount stuff. And but like I say, you could use soapy water, works just as well. You don't want to go crazy with soapy water. You just want to actually just put a little soap and water and then wet the surface of the rubber, and that'll help it seal on up. And if you have any sort of bead leaks right now, not right now is the best time to take and fix them. So if you did, you could take a wire brush, clean on the back side, and again clean the tire as well. So I'm going to go ahead and just put this on the perimeter of this, and you don't really need to see this. It's pretty straightforward. I'm just lubricating the bead on the inside of the tire as well as on the side with that material. Do the same thing with soapy water. All right, the next step is just to inflate the tire. Pretty straightforward. Now, one thing that you may want to do, let me go ahead and disconnect this, is that the backside bead is actually set. So that's always going to be set. And if you have any sort of trouble, what's going to happen is you're not going to get enough of that rubber to seat up against the rim. And one little trick to do that is to push down when you're doing the inflation, because that'll push the rim around the perimeter down on the tire, so that'll help start the air. And in fact, let me just go ahead and do it this way. One other trick is that if you have difficulty filling the tire on up, you can remove the valve core, and that'll allow more air to go on in at a faster rate. And then of course that'll help, if you have any sort of leakage, that leakage will be overcome because of the more of the air that's actually flowing inside there. So anyway, let's just go ahead and start this on off. So again, it just pops. There was no leakage whatsoever there since I held the tire this way. I didn't really need to do it. But again, now all you need to do is just go ahead and fill it on up to your desired pressure. So I think that's pretty much it for the tips and tricks on how to do this. Since you're not taking the tire off the rim, there's no need to get it rebalanced. And all you need to do is just break the bead, put the new valve core on in, and then fill it up with air again. So that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.